chapter 68, verse 25. But Adam continued to offer this oblation thus every week into the end of 7 weeks, and on the first day, which is the 50th, Adam made an offering as he was wont, and he and Eve took it, and came to the altar before God, as he had taught them. Chapter 69, 12th apparition of Satan to Adam and Eve while Adam was praying over the offering upon the altar, when Satan smote him. Now, the first sunrise. Now, I don't think that nowadays people can really get away with inventing a myth like that. Then Satan, the hater of all good, envious of Adam, of his offering, through which he found favor with God, hastened and took up sharp stone from among sharp iron stones, appeared in the form of a man, and went and stood by Adam and Eve. Now, as much as there has, much longer than Judaism and Christianity, been misanthropic and even anti-cosmic Satanism, which isn't always quite the same thing as what people talk about now when they use those terms, but nonetheless, but Satanism usually has not been like, this great hate theme. But who's pretending here? If the Bible has like 145 or so, depending on your version of the Bible, mentions of hate, and 15 about love, and not all of those are, isn't the great theme in the Bible hate? So wouldn't Satan be more about love, by that logic? But anyways, not really the point. Adam was then offering on the altar, and had begun to pray, with his hands spread to God. And Satan hastened with the sharp iron stone he had with him, and with it pierced Adam on the right side, when flowed blood and water. And Adam fell upon the altar like a corpse, and Satan fled. And Eve came and took Adam and placed him below the altar, and there she stayed, weeping over him, while a stream of blood flowed from Adam's side upon his offering. But God looked upon the death of Adam. He then sent his word, and raised him up, and said unto him, Fulfill thy offering, for indeed, Adam, it is worth much, and there is no shortcoming in it. God said further unto Adam, Thus will it also happen to me on the earth, when I shall be pierced, and blood shall flow, blood and water from my side, and run over my body, which is the true offering, and which shall be offered on the altar as a perfect offering. I can't help but think that that's symbolic of childbirth. But then God commanded Adam to finish his offering, and when he had ended it, he worshipped before God and praised him for the signs he had thus shown him. Well, woman, the life of women in general. Well, I'm trying to sum up a symbol. I'm not sure that sounds right. But then God commanded Adam to finish off his offering, and when he had ended it, he worshipped before God and praised him for the signs he had showed him. And God healed Adam in one day, which is the end of 7 weeks, and that is the 50th day. Then Adam and Eve returned from the mountain and went into the cave of treasures, as they were used to do. This completed for Adam and Eve 140 days since their coming out of the garden. Then they both stood up that night and prayed to God, and when it was morning, they went out and went down westward of the cave into the place where their corn was, their kernels, their grain, and they rested under the shadow of a tree, as they were wont. But when there were a multitude of beasts come all around them, it was Satan's doing in his wickedness, in order to wage war against Adam through marriage. Well, in his marriage, perhaps. Chapter 70. 13th apparition of Satan to Adam and Eve to make war against him through his marriage with Eve. 17 verses. What's that verse in the Bible about these things literally true, incarnate in our Lord Jesus Christ, but these stories full of, these invented stories full of meaning, differentiating between a myth and a fable, of course. After this, Satan, the hater of all good, took the form of an angel, and with him 2 others, so that they looked like the 3 angels who had brought to Adam gold, incense, and myrrh. And they passed before Adam and Eve while they were under the tree, and greeted Adam and Eve with fair words that were full of guile. But when Adam and Eve saw their comely mien, and heard their sweet speech, Adam rose, welcomed them, and brought them to Eve. And they remained all together, Adam's heart, the while being glad, because he thought concerning them that they were the same angels who had brought him gold, incense, and myrrh. Because when they came to Adam the first time, there came upon him from them peace and joy through their bringing him good tokens. So Adam thought that they were come a second time to give him other tokens, for him to rejoice withal, for he did not know it was Satan. Therefore did he receive them with joy, and companied with them. And Satan, the tallest of them, said, Rejoice, O Adam, and be glad. Lo, God has sent us to thee, to tell thee something. And Adam said, What is it? Then Satan answered, It is a light thing, yet it is the word of God. Wilt thou hear it from us, and do it? But if thou hearest not, we will return to God, and tell him that thou wouldest not receive his word. And Satan said again to Adam, Fear not, neither let a trembling come upon thee. Dost not thou know us? But Adam said, I know you not. Then Satan said to him, I am the angel who brought thee gold, and took it to the cave. This other one is he who brought thee incense, and that third one is he who brought thee myrrh, when thou wast on the top of the mountain, and who carried thee to the cave. But as to the other angels, our fellows, who bear you to the cave, God has not sent them with us this time. For he said to us, You suffice. When Adam heard these words, he believed them, and said to these angels, Speak the word of God, that I may receive it. And Satan said unto him, Swear, and promise me that thou wilt receive it. Then Adam said, I know not how to swear and promise. And Satan said to him, Hold out thy hand, and put it inside my hand. Then Adam held out his hand, and put it into Satan's hand. When Satan said unto him, Say now, so true as God is living, rational, and speaking, who raised the heavens in the space, and established the earth upon the waters, and has created me out of the 4 elements, and out of the dust of the earth, I will not break my promise, nor renounce my word. And Adam swore thus. Then Satan said to him, Lo, it is now some time since thou camest out of the garden, and thou knowest neither wickedness nor evil. But now God says to thee, to take Eve, who came out of thy side, and to wed her, that she bear thee children, to comfort thee, and to drive from thee trouble and sorrow. Now this thing is not difficult, neither is there any scandal in it to thee. And Anton Susanna LaVey was not the first one to do a satanic wedding. And no, I don't mean by this story. Chapter 71, Adam is troubled by his wedding with Eve. 14 verses. But when Adam heard these words from Satan, he sorrowed much because of his oath and of his promise, and said, Shall I commit adultery with my flesh and my bones? And shall I sin against myself for God to destroy me, and to blot me out from the face of the earth? Since, when at first I ate of the tree, he drove me out of the garden unto this strange land, and deprived me of my bright nature, and brought death upon me. If then I should do this, he will cut off my life from the earth, and he will cast me into hell, and will plague me there a long time. But God never spoke the words thou hast told me, and ye are not God's angels, nor sent from him, but ye are devils, come to me under the false appearance of angels. Away from me, ye cursed of God. Then those devils fled from before Adam, and he and Eve arose and returned to the cave of treasures and went into it. Then Adam said to Eve, If thou sawest what I did, tell it not. For I sinned against God in swearing by his great name, and I have placed my hand another time into that of Satan. Eve then told her piece, as Adam told her. Then Adam arose and spread his hands unto God, beseeching and entreating him with tears to forgive him what he had done. And Adam remained thus standing and praying 40 days and 40 nights. He neither ate nor drank until he dropped down upon the earth from hunger and thirst. Then God sent his word unto Adam, who raised him up from where he lay, and said unto him, O Adam, why hast thou sworn by my name, and why hast thou made agreement with Satan another time? But Adam wept and said, O God, forgive me, for I did this unwittingly, believing they were God's angels. And God forgave Adam, saying to him, Beware of Satan. And he withdrew his word from Adam. Then Adam's heart was comforted, and he took Eve, and they went out of the cave to make some food for their bodies. But from that day Adam struggled in his mind about his wedding Eve, afraid as he was to do it, lest God should be wroth with him. Then Adam and Eve went to the river of water and sat on the bank, as the people do when they enjoy themselves. But Satan was jealous of them and would destroy them. Chapter 72, Adam's heart is set on fire. Hopefully I don't get bit by that fire ant. But 24. Which your basic runes are 24, so that's a nice number. Well, it doesn't matter what number they divide the verses into, but then Satan and 10 from his hosts transformed themselves into maidens, unlike any others in the whole world, for grace. They came up out of the river in the presence of Adam and Eve, and they said among themselves, Come, we will look at the faces of Adam and of Eve, who are the men upon the earth, how beautiful they are, and how different is their look from their own faces. How different is their look from our own faces. Then they came to Adam and Eve, and greeted them, and stood wondering at them. Adam and Eve looked at them also, and wondered at their beauty, and said, Is there then under us another world with such beautiful creatures as these in it? And those maidens said to Adam and Eve, Yes, indeed, we are an abundant creation. Then Adam said to them, But how do you multiply? And they answered him, We have husbands who wedded us, and we bear them children who grow up, and who in their turn wed and are wedded, and also bear children, and thus we increase. And if so be, O Adam, thou wilt not believe us, we will show thee our husbands and our children. And they shouted over the river, as if to call their husbands and their children who came up from the river, men and children. Everyone came to his wife, his children being with him. But when Adam and Eve saw them, they stood dumb and wondered at them. And they said to Adam and Eve, You see our husbands and our children wed Eve as we wed our wives, and we shall have children the same as we. This was the device of Satan to deceive Adam. Satan also thought within himself, God at first commanded Adam concerning the fruit of the tree, saying to him, Eat not of it, else of death thou shalt die. But Adam ate of it, and yet God did not kill him. He only decreed upon him death and plagues and trials until the day he shall come out of his body. Now then, if I deceive him to do this thing, and to wed Eve without God's commandment, God will kill him then. Therefore did Satan work this apparition before Adam and Eve, because he sought to kill him, and to make him disappear from off the face of the earth. Meanwhile, the fire of sin came upon Adam, and he thought of committing sin, but he restrained himself, fearing lest if he followed this advice of Satan, God would put him to death. Then Adam and Eve arose and prayed to God, while Satan and his hosts went down into the river in presence of Adam and Eve, to let them see that they were going back to their own regions. Then Adam and Eve went back to the cave of treasures, as they were wont, about evening time, and they both arose and prayed to God that night, Adam remained silent in prayer, yet, not knowing how to pray by reason of the thoughts of his heart regarding his wedding Eve. And he continued so until morning. And when light arose, Adam said unto Eve, Arise, let us go below the mountain, where they brought us gold, and let us ask the Lord concerning this matter. Then Eve said, What is the matter, O Adam? And he answered her, That I may request the Lord to inform me about wedding thee, for I will not do it without his order, lest he make us perish, thee and me. For those devils have set my heart on fire with thoughts of what they showed us in their sinful apparitions. Then Eve said to Adam, Why need we go below the mountain? Let us rather stand up and pray in our cave to God, to let us know whether this counsel is good or not. Then Adam rose up in prayer and said, O God, thou knowest that we transgressed against thee, and from the moment we transgressed, we were bereft of our bright nature, and our body became brutish, requiring food and drink, and with animal desires. Command us, O God, not to give away to them without thy order, lest thou bring us to nothing. For if thou give us not the order, we shall be overpowered, and follow that advice of Satan, and thou wilt again make us perish. If not, then take our souls from us, let us be rid of this animal lust, and if thou give us no order respecting this thing, then sever Eve from me, and me from her, and place us each far away from the other. Yet again, O God, when thou hast put us asunder from each other, the devils will deceive us with their apparitions, and destroy our hearts, and defile our thoughts towards each other. Yet, if it is not each of us toward the other, it will, at all events, be through their appearance, when they show themselves to us. Here Adam ended his prayer. Chapter 73, the betrothal of Adam and Eve, 9 verses. Then God looked upon the words of Adam, that they were true, and that they could long await his order respecting the counsel of Satan. And God approved Adam in what he had thought concerning this, and in the prayer he had offered in his presence. And the word of God came unto Adam and said to him, O Adam, if thou hadst this caution at first, ere thou camest out of the garden into this land. After that, God sent his angel, who had brought gold, and the angel who had brought incense, and the angel who had brought myrrh to Adam, that they should inform him respecting his wedding Eve. Then those angels said to Adam, Take the gold and give it to Eve as a wedding gift, and betroth her. Then give her some incense and myrrh as a present. They probably mean frankincense, but myrrh is an incense too. But frankincense and myrrh also have importance other than just something smelling nice. As a present, and be ye, thou and she, one flesh. Adam hearkened to the angels and took the gold and put it into Eve's bosom in her garment, and betrothed her with his hand. And in Persian weddings, the first time you hold hands is the marriage. Then angels commanded Adam and Eve. Well, I mean in the oldest traditions. Then the angels commanded Adam and Eve to rise and pray 40 days and 40 nights. And after that, Adam should come in to his wife. For then this would be an act pure and undefiled. And he should have children who would multiply and replenish the face of the earth. Then both Adam and Eve received the words of the angels, and the angels departed from them. And Adam and Eve began to fast and to pray until the end of the 40 days. And then they came together as the angels had told them, and from the time Adam left the garden until he had wedded Eve were 223 days, that is 7 months and 13 days. Thus was Satan's war with Adam defeated. Chapter 74, the birth of Cain and Luluwa, why they received those names, and my one spring equinox ritual kind of touched on this mythological breakdown, didn't I? From the Persian side of the stages of creation and beings of those stages. And by Persian, I mean ancient Mesopotamian, Iranian race, whatever you want to call it. And they dwelt on the earth, working in order to continue in the well-being of their bodies, and were so until the 9 months of Eve's childbearing were ended, and the time drew near when she must be delivered. Then she said unto Adam, This cave is a pure spot by reason of the signs wrought in it, since we left the garden, and we shall again pray in it. It is not meet then that I should bring forth in it. Let us rather repair to that of the sheltering rock, which Satan hurled at us, but when he wished to kill us with it, but that was held up and spread as an awning over us by the command of God, and formed a cave. Then Adam removed Eve to that cave, and when the time came that she should bring forth, she travailed much. So was Adam sorry, and his heart suffered for her sake, for she was nigh unto death, that the word of God to her should be fulfilled. In suffering shalt thou bear a child, and in sorrow shalt thou bring forth thy child. But when Adam saw the strait in which Eve was, he arose and prayed to God, and said, O Lord, look upon me with the eye of thy mercy, and bring her out of her distress. And God looked at his maid servant Eve, and delivered her, and she brought forth her firstborn son, and with him a daughter. And Adam rejoiced at Eve's deliverance, and also over the children she had borne him. And Adam ministered unto Eve in the cave until the end of 8 days, when they named the son Cain, and the daughter of Luluwa. The meaning of Cain is hater. I don't think Bayan translates as hater, does it? Horizon. And seed with a hand and an arm in the middle. That growth out of, yeah, that doesn't make, I don't think that translates as hater, because he hated his sister in their mother's womb, ere they came out of it. Therefore did Adam name him Cain. But Luluwa means beautiful, because she was more beautiful than her mother. Then Adam and Eve waited until Cain and his sister were 40 days old, when Adam said unto Eve, We will make an offering, and offer it up on behalf of the children. And Eve said, We will make one offering for the firstborn son, and afterwards we shall make one for the daughter. Chapter 75. The family revisits the cave of treasures, the birth of Abel and of Achlemia. Then Adam prepared an offering, and he and Eve offered it up for their children. I said that was 13 verses, right? And brought it to the altar they had built at first. And Adam offered up the offering, and besought God to accept his offering. And God accepted Adam's offering, and sent a light from heaven that shone upon the offering. And Adam and the son drew near to the offering, but Eve and the daughter did not approach unto it. Then Adam came down upon the altar, and they were joyful. And Adam and Eve waited until the daughter was 80 days old. And Adam prepared an offering, and took it to Eve and to the children. And they went to the altar, where Adam offered it up, and he was wont, asking the Lord to accept his offering. And the Lord accepted the offering of Adam and Eve. Then Adam, Eve, and the children drew near together, and came down from the mountain rejoicing. But they returned not to the cave in which they were born, but came to the cave of treasures, in order that the children should go round it, and be blessed with the tokens brought from the garden. But after they had been blessed with these tokens, they went back to the cave in which they were born. However, before Eve had offered up the offering, Adam had taken her, and had gone with her to the river of water, in which they threw themselves at first. And there they washed themselves. Adam washed his body, and Eve hers also clean, after the suffering and distress that had come upon them. But Adam and Eve, after washing themselves in the river of water, returned every night to the cave of treasures, where they prayed and were blessed. and then went back to their cave where the children were born. So did Adam and Eve until the children had done sucking. Then, when they were weaned, Adam made an offering for the souls of his children, other than the 3 times he made an offering for them every week. When the days of nursing the children were ended, Eve again conceived, and when her days were accomplished, she brought forth another son and daughter, and they named the son Abel and the daughter Achliah. Then at the time of the 40 days, Adam made an offering for the son, and at the end of the 80 days, he made another offering for the daughter, and did by them as he had done before by Cain and his sister Luluwa, and he brought them to the cave of treasures, where they received a blessing, and they returned to the cave where they were born. After the birth of these, Adam ceased from childbearing. 76, Cain becomes jealous because of his sisters. And the children began to wax stronger and to grow in stature, but Cain was hard-hearted and ruled over his younger brother, and oftentimes when his father made an offering and would remain behind and not go with them to offer up. But as to Abel, he had a meek heart and was obedient to his father and mother, whom he often moved to make an offering because he loved it, and prayed and fasted much. Then Cain assigned to Abel, and he was coming unto the cave of treasures, and saw the golden rods, the incense, and the myrrh, and he inquired of his parents, Adam and Eve, concerning them, and said unto them, How did ye come by these? Then Adam told him all that had befallen them, and Abel felt deeply about what his father told him. Furthermore, his father Adam told him of the works of God and of the garden, and after that remained behind his father the whole that night in the cave of treasures. And that night, when he was praying, Satan appeared unto him in the figure of a man, who said unto him, Thou hast oftentimes moved thy father to make an offering, to fast and to pray, therefore I will kill thee, and make thee perish from this world. But as for Abel, he prayed to God, and drove away Satan from him, and he believed not the words of the devil. When it was day, an angel of God appeared unto him, who said unto him, Shorten neither fasting, prayer, nor offering up oblation unto thy God. For lo, the Lord has accepted thy prayer. Be not afraid of the figure which appeared unto thee in the night, and it will curse thee unto death. And the angel departed from him. And when it was day, Abel came to Adam and Eve, and told them of the vision he had seen. But when they had heard it, they grieved much over it, yet said nothing to him about it. They only comforted him. But as to hard-hearted Cain, Satan came to him by night, showed himself, and said unto him, Since Adam and Eve love thy brother Abel much more than they love thee, and wish to join him in marriage to thy beautiful sister, because they love him, but wish to join thee in marriage to his ill-favored sister, because they hate thee. Now therefore I counsel thee, when they do that, to kill thy brother. Then thy sister will be left for thee, and his sister will be cast away. And Satan departed from him, but the wicked one remained behind in the heart of Cain, who sought many a time to kill his brother. Chapter 77, Cain 15 years old, Abel 12 years old, grow apart. And I'm going to double check to make sure I didn't skip any, because I feel like I might have skipped something in chapters 75 and 76, but we are talking 9 verses here. But when Adam saw that the elder brother hated the younger, he endeavored to soften their hearts, and said unto Cain, Take, O my son, of the fruits of thy sowing, and make an offering unto God, that he may forgive thee thy wickedness and thy sin. And he said also to Abel, Take thou of thy sowing, and make an offering, and bring it to God, that he may forgive thy wickedness and thy sin. Then Abel hearkened unto his father's voice, and took off his sowing, and made a good offering, and said to his father Adam, Come with me to show me how to offer it up. And when they went, Adam and Eve went with him, and showed him how to offer up his gift upon the altar. Then after that they stood up, and prayed that God would accept Abel's offering. Then God looked upon and accepted his offering, and God was more pleased with Abel than with his offering, because of his good heart and pure body. There was no trace of guile in him. Then they came down from the altar, and went to the cave in which they dwelt. But Abel, by reason of his joy at having made his offering, repeated it 3 times a week. after the example of his father Adam. But as to Cain, he took no pleasure in the offering, but after much anger on his father's part, he offered up his gift once. And when he did offer up, his eye was on the offering he made, and he took the smallest of his sheep for an offering, and his eye was again on it. Therefore God did not accept his offering, because his heart was full of murderous thoughts. And they all thus lived together in the cave, which Eve had brought forth, until Cain was 15 years old, and Abel was 12 years old. Chapter 78, jealousy overcomes Cain. He makes trouble in the family, how the first murder was planned. 39 verses. Then Adam said to Eve, Behold, the children are grown up. We must think of finding wives for them. Then Eve answered, How can we do it? Then Adam said to her, We will join Abel's sister in marriage to Cain, and Cain's sister to Abel. Then said Eve to Adam, I do not like Cain, because he is hard-hearted, but let them bide until we offer up unto the Lord in their behalf. And Adam said no more. Meanwhile Satan came to Cain in the figure of a man of the field, and said unto him, Behold, Adam and Eve had taken counsel together about the marriage of you two, and they have agreed to marry Abel's sister to thee, and thy sister to him. But if it was not that I love thee, I would not have told thee this thing. Yet if thou wilt take my advice and hearken unto me, I will bring thee on thy wedding day beautiful robes, gold and silver in plenty, and my relations will attend thee. Then Cain said with joy, Where are thy relations? And Satan answered, My relations are in a garden in the north, whither I once meant to bring thy father Adam, but he would not accept my offer. But thou, if thou wilt receive my words, and if thou wilt come unto me after thy wedding, thou shalt rest from the misery in which thou art, and thou shalt rest and be better off than thy father Adam. At these words of Satan, Cain opened his ears and leant towards his speech. And he did not remain in the field, but he went to Eve his mother, and beat her, and cursed her, and said to her, Why are ye about talking my sister to wed her to my brother? Am I dead? His mother, however, quieted him, and sent him to the field where he had been. Then, when Adam came, she told him of what Cain had done, but Adam grieved and held his peace, and said not a word. Then on the morrow Adam said unto Cain his son, Take of thy sheep, young and good, and offer them up unto thy God, and I will speak to thy brother, and make unto his God an offering of corn, grain. They both hearkened to their father Adam, and they took their offerings, and offered them up on the mountain by the altar. But Cain behaved haughtily. I keep forgetting that it's a Q, the English spelling, towards his brother, and thrust him from the altar, and would not let him offer up his gift upon the altar, but he offered his own upon it, with a proud heart full of guile and fraud. But as for Abel, he set up stones that were near at hand, and upon that he offered up his gift with a heart humble and free from guile. Cain was then standing by the altar on which he had offered up his gift, and he cried unto God to accept his offering, but God did not accept it.